Okay, so from here, Gary's got his deep half guard already set up. He's got a triangle on his legs, that's nice and tight. He's got his hands both clasped together, so this grip is real tight as well, and he's not really giving me any openings. He's on this shoulder and this hip, and he's sitting up off of this shoulder and this hip, so he's not flat at all, which makes it really difficult for me. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to start trying to set up my Kimura grip on this bottom arm. I'm going to grab the wrist here, and then what I'm going to do with this leg, I need to slide it down over here in his spine and in his lower back. I'm going to grab here, I'm going to put my weight forward, and I'm going to push my leg straight back. My weight is on top of him as I do this, while I've got this grip. So I grab, put my hand out to base, I push my knee back, and I'm going to turn onto my hip and lay on this shoulder and set up the Kimura grip on this arm. And what I have to do is, as I do this, I need to make sure that I'm pushing his head forward. It can't be loose, I can't let his head drop down to the floor. It needs to be pressure on his head, pushing his head forward, just by pushing my hip forward into the back of his neck. So I've got my Kimura grip here. If you've got a strong grip, if you're good at the Kimura, you might be able to break the grip here, but you know, for a lot of lighter guys, you're probably not going to be able to do that. So we're going to break it another way. So what I need to do now, I've got a nice strong Kimura grip. I'm laying on this shoulder, on this hip, and I'm off this shoulder and off this hip and facing this way, just as he is. I'm going to try using this leg, bring his right hip down to the floor towards me, while pushing his arms this way. And what that's going to do is, it's going to bring his right leg a little bit closer to me, so that I can bring my left leg, my left foot, on top of his right leg, much like you do from normal half guard, and that's going to give me the leverage to just pop my other leg, the trap leg, out, like so, and I'm going to push down, I'm going to curl down with my right leg as I rip the Kimura grip this way. And that should break the grip, and it's going to put me nicely into a crucifix. I'm going to triangle my legs, or just cross the ankles real tight while squeezing my knees together, and I'm going to come up to my knees. Now, we've got two ways of doing this. This way, the way I'm showing now, I'm going to push my hip up into his head so that it pushes it forward, and I'm going to keep the Kimura grip. I'm going to come up onto this elbow, and I'm going to apply the Kimura there. He's already tapped. There's pressure with the Kimura submission, and there's pressure with the neck lock there. So turn this way. Okay, so from this deep half guard position, he's got it perfectly there. This is tight, this is tight. He's going to start taking my balance away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here, in this arm. I've got my hand out here, got a nice good base. I'm going to send this leg straight back. So my knee is right in between his shoulder blades, as low down as I can get it. And I'm on this hip, and I'm going to lie onto this shoulder. And I'm going to get my Kimura grip. This is a nice strong grip. I personally, I know a lot of people don't, I like to wrap my thumbs around my own wrist and his wrist. Some people don't, but I feel like it gives me a stronger grip. From there, I'm going to push my foot down and try and bring his hips and his legs over towards me. All that's going to do is going to allow me to bring my left leg on top, push down, and give me the leverage to bring my trap leg out. Keep it real tight for me, guys. Bring it down. And as that top leg, my trap leg becomes free, I'm going to curl it down hard into his arm, and at the same time ripping the Kimura grip this way. So with my leg, I'm pulling this arm down, and with my hands, I'm pulling this arm up. And then as soon as that grip is broken, I'm either crossing my ankles or I'm triangling my legs. Either way, I've got to pinch my knees together so he doesn't get his arm free. From there, I'm going to come up onto this elbow, onto both knees, and I'm slowly going to push my hip forward into the back of his neck, and I'm going to push the Kimura down. Just two different options for that technique. Just two different slight variations. So, as I set it up, I'm coming here, grabbing the wrist, sending this leg back with my base out, and I turn my hip into him. As I fall onto this left shoulder, I'm going to get my Kimura grip and making sure there's pressure on my hip and my stomach forward to keep his head forward. I don't want it falling onto the floor because then I'm going to lose the option to do the crucifix, to put pressure on the back of his neck. So I'm going to fall back, get my Kimura, and then I'm going to push his leg and his hip that way. And it's very difficult to stop. I'm basically curling my leg this way, and it's bringing his hips and his right leg this way. So what I'm going to do now, I have the option of opening the Kimura and putting using either hand to place on this wrist and try and break the grip. So what I'm doing here, as this comes on top, my left leg that I have free, that's coming and hooking onto his leg to try and free my trap leg. As I do that, I can open my Kimura grip, and my right hand is going to come off and attack this wrist. And what I've done is I've turned this hand up. I've gone from here to here, and that's going to keep some tension there. This hand is going to come on this wrist, and I'm going to push down with my right hand while pulling up with my left hand into the crucifix. Okay. Or I can do the same with the other hand. I don't think it's as secure, but to give it a try, you might have some success with it. Come here and push down with this hand. Whatever you do, when I'm trying to break the Kimura, it's important to bring it up towards his head and push my belly and hips forward. And if you're strong enough, if you do it well enough, bring it up high enough, you may be able to break the Kimura here just by pushing my right leg, my trap leg down and putting the Kimura up. It's going up towards his head and up towards me. You may be able to break it just like that. Okay? So even if I've broken that, I still have to use my other leg, come on top and free my trap leg. I'm in the crucifix now. Once I'm here, I have a different option in terms of how I finish the move. I'm going to come up again, come to my knee, but then instead of pushing forward, I can let his head drop to the mat, and I can step over to a more traditional Kimura and put it on here, pushing his hand towards his head. I'll show that one more time real quick. Just turn towards the camera. So from here, I grab his wrist. That's the first thing I want to do. Got my base here. I send this leg back down as low as I can get it. And I'm going to fall into this shoulder and get my Kimura as I do that. Okay, I'm going to bring the arm up. I'm going to push down with my trap leg, and I'm going to try, while pushing my leg down, I'll try and break the Kimura. It's not working. I can bring this hand down, tap like so. Or I can simply bring my free leg on top, free my trap leg, push up with the Kimura this way, up towards his head and then up towards me, while clamping this right leg down. Once I'm here, I have the option to either straight up, push his neck and his head forward while putting the Kimura on, or I can let his head drop to the mat, step over, and I can finish with a more traditional Kimura here. It's up to you. Okay, so as I'm going for the Kimura, I just want to show you real quick where my knee is going. So I'm grabbing the wrist, I'm basing out, and I'm going to send this free leg behind his head, behind his body. I just want to show you real quick where it's going. Right here. Okay, and I fall onto this shoulder, my left shoulder, and get my Kimura grip. Like so, I'm keeping my knee in very tight to the body, my hips very pushing into the back of his neck, my stomach is pushing to the back of his head. There's no space. Okay, no space. I don't want to cut my leg up too much. I don't want to straighten it too much. What's most important is my hips and my knee are pushing into it. So there's no space. From here I can start working to get this Kimura and break his grip.